Hello, Paul. If you can believe it, we're already back recapping November and all of the crazy stuff that's been going on. So, Paul,
Indeed.
take it away.
Kate, it feels like ages ago, years ago, but at the start of November, OpenAI had their first developer conference. That was exciting. At the time, we heard about custom GPTs, the new GPT-4 Turbo that's faster, cheaper, smaller, multimodal. Now ChatGPT is super fast. It's accessible via the API, and it allows you to do image generation, browsing the web, all kind of things within the one window, which is great. And then the custom GPTs is pretty cool. People are already flooding ChatGPT website with these custom GPTs, allowing people to create their own, custom assistants and build upon them and teach these individual assistants that are experts in specific topics. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Um, that would have been a good month for OpenAI, right?
Yeah. No, it's been totally crazy since then, I feel like. I know that AGI has been achieved and the board's been freaking out, but I don't know what AGI is
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. I don't know if AGI has been achieved. So let me tell you what AGI is. Good question. Okay.
Okay.
AGI is artificial general intelligence. Now, the rumors were flying that OpenAI were close to achieving AGI, which means that the robot overlords are going to take over the world.
Oh,
I
really?
don't think we're exactly there yet, but there is still rumors swirling about how smart the OpenAI models have become, and ChatGPT in particular. It
Right.
seems like there are rumors that the model is able to make achieve things in math that it hasn't been able to do before, and it's
Okay.
believed that being able to work out some mathematical reasoning is the major step to this sort of like human-like AI.
Mhm.
I don't know if we're really there yet. That was some of the rumors, but these rumors or something had caused the board at OpenAI to fire Sam Altman last month, and that was
Yeah.
a whirlwind. Nobody saw this coming.
No.
Satya Nadella, who was on stage a few weeks before at the developer conference, I'm sure was shocked.
Oh my gosh.
He quickly moved in and offered Altman a job with all his team and all of the disgruntled employees, which is almost all of OpenAI, to come on board over at Microsoft. It seemed like he had swooped in and saved the day.
Hmm.
Since then, the board is disintegrated. They've invited Altman back. He's back as head of the company, I believe, and everything is supposedly going back to normal. Meanwhile, all of us users and believers in OpenAI are shell shocked and looking other
Oh.
places. Um,
Yes. Oh
so
my gosh. It's been totally crazy.
yeah, it's been an insane ride over there. You know, in saying that, and I think we move on to one of our lead story just this week, and that's at reInvent. That's AWS's annual cloud conference, their event in Las Vegas. They kind
Yes.
of poked fun at OpenAI. They, basically they focused on the need to diversify your models, so not just to rely on OpenAI, but rely on a ton of the different open source and available API models that are there. Amazon Bedrock allows you access to all of these, or allows access to a ton of models within the AWS infrastructure, which is really cool. So that was part of
Mm.
the announcement. That was Bedrock had already exists, but they've increased guardrails around Bedrock and they've improved it. And as I say, they've doubled down on reasoning to use AWS, and a lot of that is to do with the access to different models and diversifying your models and not being so reliant on OpenAI. And the CEO of AWS, he actually said, his name is Adam Selipsky. He actually made fun of OpenAI during the conference and said, despite what's happening over the last 10 days, generative AI is here to stay, but you should look at other models. Don't be reliant on it. So
Yeah.
it's fair enough. Reinvent is still going on at the time of production. Some of the other highlights, as I say, they've improved Bedrock. They've added some guardrails to Bedrock to kind of protect the results and make sure that things don't get out of control, whether it's inappropriate or whether it's worse than that. As well as that, they've covered some. They have a new image generation service called Titan. So that's to sort of compete against Midjourney, um, Diffusion AI, and of course ChatGPT's DALI, OpenAI's
Mhm.
DALI. And they have also created, and this is the biggest news out of this week, is the new Amazon Q, which is their chatbot alternative to ChatGPT. It's deeply integrated with AWS. They're positioning Amazon Q as a ChatGPT for business. Should be more powerful than ChatGPT and easier to integrate with other things. And it remains to be seen. But I think, especially with linking in with Bedrock and all of the data that AWS contains right now, I think it offers a really big alternative and a seismic sort of shift, a seismic improvement on functionality and what you're able to accomplish within
Right.
the environment. It's just for AWS customers, so if you're on AWS, you're not going to have access to it. It might be a good reason to check out AWS.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I was reading that it could potentially analyze code and fix bugs and like do all kinds of amazing things.
You're
So,
right on the money. They've already introduced a code regenerator for Java. So if you want to move all your legacy code from Java to something else, they've introduced like a AI powered tool to do that. And I think there's going to be a lot more of, even just like we're at Wednesday right now, time of recording. There's more to come. But Amazon are really they're planting their flag in the sand, and they're saying they're not going anywhere. They will be very valuable both for us because we're deeply embedded with AWS right now, but also for many others. I think there's a couple of stats at the conference that were interesting. One of them we had in our stat of the week this week was that 80% of all unicorns are within the AWS technology environment. So their stack is on AWS. It's 80% of
wow.
unicorns. And the other thing they claimed is that they have 3 times the capacity of their nearest competitor, their nearest cloud competitor. So Amazon is still winning the war against Azure and Microsoft, despite Microsoft's interest and embedding of ChatGPT.
Wow. That's crazy. Fascinating.
Yeah. So, Kate, we want to cover one more story from the month. I think that the highlight. What was your highlight in terms of apps or any changes in apps last month?
Yeah. Yes, so this is my favorite story. So Uber is testing out a new feature. It's called Uber Tasks, and it's essentially a marketplace for hiring handymen. So participating drivers could be hired to do various chores. So lawn care, ironing, even holiday decorating. I'm imagining helping me hang up my TV, things like that. And this isn't groundbreaking. There are similar platforms, so a TaskRabbit and a Thumbtack that I've definitely used in the past. But this is a big deal for Uber. It's really going to diversify the skills of Uber drivers and just offer more flexibility, more just opportunity. And I think it's a really, really big deal. And I'm excited for this. I will be using.
That's right. Started with Uber, then Uber Eats. We got cars, we got food. Now, as you say, they're going to be hanging TVs too. All right.
I'm excited. I love a courier service. So I think this is going to be really big.
Cool. So I think over the last month, it's probably worth highlighting our Meanwhile. Most of our Meanwhile stories in the newsletter the last month were shout outs. I will give a first shout out to NetCito. NetCito is a peer networking group that I've been a member on for the last 4 or 5 years. The founder of NetCito is called Peter Mellon. He's an incredible mentor and coach, and he's been running, as I say, NetCito for the last, I think, over 10 years, and I've been in the network just 4 or 5 years. It's fantastic. I recommend anyone to check it out that's an entrepreneur, wants some help, guidance, support. They meet monthly, and it's a great resource. And check out netcito.com. That's the first shout out. I think probably next shout out, Kate, you want to give it to our other friend Paul from across the water?
Yes, so Paul Swale, he's our serverless consultant, and he had a birthday this month. Happy birthday, Paul. Paul's been at 3Advanced for 5 years, and he's had a huge impact on, I mean, everything tech stack, server related. So we're excited to have you, Paul. Happy birthday.
Yeah, Paul Swale, again, if anyone's looking for a serverless consultant, he was the one who helped us get on AWS and really, really help us migrate because we used to be .NET Azure house a few years ago, and we had dipped in our toes into JavaScript Node, trying to consistent size our stack. But yeah, we moved to AWS, and he was paramount in getting us set up on service and really making the most of it. And we still use him as a consultant to improve our operations, DevOps, optimizations, security, all these things. He's a fantastic resource, and I really encourage anyone that's looking to improve their stack or thinking about serverless to hit him up. Whether it's a small business, large enterprise, he's the man.
For sure. Also, the nicest guy in the whole world.
He's great. He is great. finally, last shout out, I think, let's go to Boataroo. Boataroo is one of our clients. We know one of the applications that went live this year. It is a tool for marinas to manage their boat rentals. It's a beautiful website. As I say, we launched it this summer. They had their first onboarded marina, I think, in June. The season's drawn to a close, but they're hitting the circuit. Do you know where they went? I think they went to a conference midweek. Kate, did you see where that was?
So let's see. Was it Kentucky?
Yeah,
Yes,
I think it's like
Tennessee.
Kentucky and Tennessee's Boataroo Marinas Association. So they're hitting the circuit all winter. They're hoping to prime and pump their sales for the new year. Obviously, they'd be, this part of the country, I guess, boats are not as popular for rental, but they'll be coming out of the gates flying in the spring, and they're
Yeah,
onboarding a ton of marinas at the moment, doing the circuit, and we wish them all the best. We're working on some minor things, but really cool extra additions and features at the moment over the winter. And as I say, we're excited about the summer when they really hit it out of the park.
totally. Awesome. That's exciting. Heading down south is a great move. People will be using that year round.
That's it, absolutely. Listen, Kate, it's been great. Thanks for doing this, and I'll see you again next month.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul. Bye, everyone.
Alrighty.